You've been carrying this every single day. You've been training with it at the range as much as you can. So now it is time to give your Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0 a thorough cleaning. That way you know that it is well maintained. This is one of the best pocket pistols on the market in 2025 in my opinion, and she deserves to get a good cleaning. Let me show you everything you need to get this job done. Going from left to right here, highly recommend some gloves because we are going to be working with some chemicals, and the less you get of that stuff on your skin, the better. You will need a brush of some type, maybe even an old toothbrush. You can get a pack of them for like $1. You'll need potentially a pick to get in those little crevices. You can get one of these little tipped and picks if you want. You'll need a brush. This one is a combo 9mm 380 brush right here. It is a brass brush. They also make nylon little tips there, so you can get nylon or brass. You will want a pull through for your patches for this job. Cleaning wise, I go with CLP. It is a cleaning, lubricant, and protector or preservative. I also put some in bulk in a little bottle with a needle on it for precise applications. You'll need some way to pull through these patches right here, or cut up pieces of cotton t-shirts, just something that doesn't flake off a lot. You don't want to use just Q-tips or something like that. Something like this that can help really get a good scrub in there. This is a pull-through cable, but you can also use a pull-through piece of tubing or whatever you have from maybe one of your other cleaning kits that come with these attachments that you can go and have a different kind of pull-through if you want. You may want to opt for some foaming bore cleaner depending on how dirty it is, but you don't have to. And then here is an aerosol version of the CLP in question, the FP10 by Shooter's Choice. If you want to use this, if it's super dirty and you want to spray the whole barrel down to get that nice and clean. Let's dive in. Everything you see on the table, I'll put the links down below and any discount codes I got for you. It's all down there. Cleaning rod. Rod, that's the word I was looking for. You can tell I haven't used those in a while. I've actually pretty much switched entirely to these cable pull-throughs or a bore snake for PCCs, which I've done like the Kuna, just did a cleaning on the Kuna here. This is how I carry it in a sticky holster. There's other holsters out there I may try, but that's how I've been carrying it. It's pretty clean on the outside because it kind of lives in that holster. I grab and go as needed, but she is a little dirty on the inside since my last cleaning from the range. First and foremost, drop the mag. Then you're going to, while pointing it in a safe direction at all times when handling any firearm, check, look inside in the mag well, look in that barrel, pull back, check again, maybe a third time. You want to make sure you're fully empty and there's nothing in there. My Bodyguard 2.0 still has a bit of some grit when the slide comes to the back here. We talked about that in my full review. It's still there. It's kind of wearing in a little bit, but it's just the strangest thing. It's definitely a known issue with Smith & Wesson for this Bodyguard 2.0. What you're going to want to do, pull this slide all the way back and push up on the slide catch, slide release right here. Then pivot this down here, your takedown lever right there. Release the slide slowly. You'll notice that it does not want to come off. Well, now you have to pull the trigger, which is why we're checking for safety. Comes off like so, and nice and dirty, ready to go for this cleaning here. Take out your spring and guide rod. Take out your little tiny barrel. Look, he's so cute. It's not about the length, guys, okay? It's how you use those barrels. Now, you can see in here it's pretty dirty, and this is exactly what you want. 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. That is all you need for this. So what we're gonna do, grab a patch. And because this is so small, you probably don't need the aerosol, but it's up to you. I'm gonna start with the spring here. So I'll take I did a little bottle of CLP this time. It does darken over time, see that? Kind of interesting, that's just how CLP works. There are a ton of different kinds of oils and cleaning lubricants and stuff like that, even solvents, right? This is kind of like a solvent right here. Hops number 9, I used to use quite a bit, but it's really up to you, user. Up to you what you want to use. It doesn't really matter as long as it cleans well. Maybe not motor oil, maybe not diesel or something, right? Maybe not WD-40. That definitely gets a little sticky over time. So we're just going to wipe down the exterior of the recoil spring and guide rod. Then we're going to take our nail and we're going to simply put it in where the spring is, like so, and I'm going to start to twist. Now what I'm doing is I'm twisting it so that my finger does all the work, and we're getting into the grooves with your fingernail with a pad in between it, see? So you can see there's that line right there. You can move it around, get a different spot. It doesn't have to be super clean, but you want to try to get as much as you can. Everything you do when you clean a firearm is really up to the user, how clean you want this. You could even go and just do a quick wipe down once in a while, re-lube, away you go, or you can do something a little more deep of a clean like I'm doing here. Grab a barrel, 15, 20 minutes maybe to clean a handgun. I used to sit down and just watch some shows, had like five handguns in front of me on an old TV tray, and I'll just go and just watch some shows, burn through like 5 handguns, clean them up nice, and wash my hands, put them away, you go. You can see how filthy this one is. You can use a bigger patch as well. They make rifle patches. These are patches designed for handguns, but because it's so small, I figured we'll be all right. Basically just wipe down a little bit of oil, and don't worry if there's excess on there. We are going to wipe that away. And if you don't wipe it away, especially on the exterior, it's going to evaporate. That's the best thing. It definitely evaporates all the excess, which is good. Especially if you leave it in a dry safe. Just wipe down the exterior as best you can. Get in those nooks and crannies. If you want that ramp really clean, now you can take your brush and simply just brush it with the patch there. You can kind of see you got a little bit more in there. You can also take your brush, there's a little fine spot right there, and go right there with the little peephole for seeing if you have a live round in the chamber right there. And you get a little more out of it. Clean it off a little bit, double check everything, see where you're at. And now you can take a fresh patch, and because it's such a short barrel, it's going to be kind of silly because it is so short. You can almost like just push this through with the way this is. But we're going to put it on like so. Like this is literally like you can almost just do this yourself. Just grab it. But what you do is you take your cable or your cleaning rod, wrap a patch with a little bit of CLP on it. You go and screw it on here. This might not be the shortest cable I had, but it was the first one I could find. Take your cable, run it through from the breech to the end of the barrel. That's because you want to go the same route when cleaning you would when you're firing a round. And that way it spins. You got a good pull there. There we go. And you see what this technique does, gets really deep in the grooves there. You see that? That is what you want to see. You want to really get in there. You could just run the brush, but I find that running it with a patch gets real deep in there, which is good. So now you can take another patch, wrap it around, add a little more CLP, seal it up. Right there, a little on the side. Take your end, run it through. You may only have to do a couple times because of how short the barrel is, but if you need to do this 5 times, 10 times to make sure it comes out clean, then that's what you gotta do. Up to you, use your preference. See that? Still catching some. Those lines there. Looking down the barrel, I mean, it looks fairly clean. A little bit there. I'll probably do one more. Could also take your aerosol if you want. You can use that to spray like that. A little more foaming, but it's the same stuff. Run it through the back here. Pull it through. And pull through all the way. There you go. Getting better. Now if you want, you can remove this. And twist on a pull through. add a little more oil to even this patch here is fine. You want to pull through about halfway. Give you some spin there. Or drop on each side. And then, yep, you just run it through again. Nice and slow. You can take your time with this. You obviously don't want to chew up any rifling, so just go slow. This one, you could use a little bit bigger patch because it is 9mm, but you can just pull through. Spins a little bit with the rifling, and honestly, I think that's fine for now. All the grooves are clean. You can see that, very shiny. Yeah, I think the barrel should be good, and then we'll save some more of the patches for the rest of this job here. Take another patch. This part you could, again, use a bigger patch if you want to, but I'm going to go and use some CLP on here. And I'm just going to start wiping this down, especially near the rails. You want to be really careful. You don't want to mess too much with that firing pin spring. You don't want to scrub in there really deep. You don't want to mess with this plunger here too much. You just want to clean what you can. Nice and light movements here. Get in all the grooves, run all the way down the rails here. See that? That's gonna be really dirty. You're gonna need probably at least a dozen patches for this job, it looks like. Might have to get more. We'll see if I can make it work. This is a little handgun for so many patches. Run the rails there. Get the patch in. You can use your fingers there a little bit. You can pull through, clean up every little part of the slide there. There you go. Now it's important to note, as you're cleaning this up to the best of your ability and where you want it to be, that you never want to spray anything directly down this firing pin channel. That little hole there is where your firing pin is. You don't want to go in here and just glob it in there. You don't want to spray anything in there. Ideally, you want to lay this flat or at an angle where you can clean this up. Now, you're going to go into here, take this because it's still a little bit of life into it. You can clean the face there, and I'll show you the extractor in a minute with a pick. You can clean the face with the brush, but you want to angle it down a little bit because you just don't want stuff getting stuck in the channel, right? Any of the patches, any excess oil. Now, there's an extractor right here. You can kind of see it. That's the extractor right there. You can take a pick. If you want to conserve some patches here. You can also conserve patches. There's actually a little bit of a broken tip on the end there. Put a little dab there. I'm going to hold it, and again, at an angle down. I'm just going to clean behind the extractor. You can see it's a little filthy back there, and if you get enough carbon buildup behind the extractor like that, you can imagine it's going to have eventually a difficult time grabbing cases. So get in there, clean that extractor, make sure it's where you want it to be. A little fine tooth there. It's like right in the middle is exactly where the extractor is there. And just see that there's a little bit more right there. Clean it to the best of your ability. You can also take another patch, go in here, and just get the rails really good, because the rails are going to be something that's going to get pretty dirty, and we'll re-lubricate all that. But it's going to make the whole handgun run a lot smoother as well, which is good. That's what you want. Nice, smooth, reliable action. Pull it around here. There you go. All right, good for my uses. Only got a couple of patches left here. Let's see, so we get a little oil on there, a little CLP. Now you got the whole top here. We'll see if we can do this in 2 patches, but you want to get the ramp, and you want to be real careful with any of these moving parts here, right? So you want to make sure you don't damage any of the springs. You don't want to damage any of the trigger components, which are all in here and here. The whole firing control is all up in there, so you want to be careful. Just be gentle. Don't bend anything. Ideally, you don't want to put any tools down there that are metal, so you might want to use your pick, maybe the brush. The other thing you do is maybe grab these rails as well and get your pick there and clean them out. See that? And same thing right here. Nice and straight across. Pretty satisfying seeing all that get scrubbed out. Another rail over here and another rail over here. These are actually pretty deep rails right here. Pulling this whole thing across. And again, clean what you can. This is a small handgun. Normally you can get your whole finger in there, but clean what you can. Clean the mag well out a little bit. Get down towards the magazine release. Just make sure in there it looks pretty clean. There's nothing too crazy on that surface. If you want, you can take your pick, get underneath the bar here, get in between here. But again, just be careful with what you're doing and where you're running these patches. You don't want to damage the trigger or anything. I think we might just barely make it with a clean patch. Clean around the slide release there. There we go, a little bit of life into it. See how we're looking. Get the ramp cleaned up a little bit. There you go. There you go, and that's what you have right there. Now we're going to take our little dropper here, and we're going to start lubricating things up. I'll start with this because I already have it in my hand here. Really, you're going to do a couple things. You're going to first hit a drop on each of the rails. There's 4 of them here. Just drop. And then you want to look in here at some wear patterns. So see that, where it's a little shiny? A little wear there and there and there. All right, that's it for that. Real simple, right? Barrel, I do right here. Almost every handgun has a little bit of wear on the top there. And you put a little bit there and it'll circulate around. Done. Spring, don't worry about it. Slide, look around a little bit right here. Kind of have it flat. And then we already oiled these rails here, so you don't really need to oil the channel. So now, let's see, you put this back in here. And then you put this, only goes one way. And then you can go and press this in. Make sure she's lined up. This spring could be a little tricky. Yeah, she's loose. Make sure she's all the way back. It's really tricky, this one, because you have to make sure she's all the way down. So that's who's going to have a problem here. Just a tight, heavy spring. There you go. A little bit of give there. Get in there. Yeah, it's a weird spring. I had mentioned before that takedown is kind of weird with the slop in the back when you pull the slide. But you want to make sure that spring is dead center. See that? So if you have that same issue I have, fiddle with the spring a little bit and just loosen it up and then get it right in the middle. Now, takedown lever down. Put it on the rails like so. Put it all the way back. Lock it. Flip the takedown. Fold it back. Check it. Make sure she fires. Yeah, honestly, I think it might be a part of that spring issue. You can kind of see this is like one of the first runs, and they had known issues that I haven't had any issues with reliability, so I kind of just left it alone. But look how far out that end of the spring goes there. That might be part of the reason why that lock back is so weird. But you know what? It goes bang every time, so that's all we can ask for. You can go wipe this down. You take a rag. I usually just kind of do a quick wipe down that kind of smooths everything out. And you take another rag, just clean off the exterior. You don't really need a lot of oil on there. And that is it. That is how you clean your Smith Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. Always remember, train hard, especially with something that you are using as a concealed carry option like the Bodyguard 2.0. Use it, shoot it, practice with it. get those A-zone hits, get those bullseyes, know what you're doing with it. Use the ammo you're going to carry. Make sure you cycle out your ammo, shoot that mag once in a while, get those hollow points out of there, get some fresh ones in there. That way you know she's ready to go. Take care of the ones you love. Those are the ones that matter. And we'll see you guys in the next review.